So the big question is this: how do most agents who struggle to get the information that most successful agents hoard to themselves grow and prosper without this information? That's the big question, and this video cast is the answer. Welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. I'm your host, Pat Hyben. And now, for the review of the day. Got a 5-star review from Fit 1976. I get so much out of these podcasts. I'm a new agent, and this is a treasure trove of ideas. Pat has an amazing ability to draw down on the tactics that are used to be successful at real estate. I look forward to these every time they come out. My only feedback is, Pat, please get a new microphone. Your intro is different in quality than the interviews, sound-wise, but the content is so good, I can't stop listening. Thank you. Keep the comments coming, guys. I love them. And remember, I eat feedback for breakfast, so give me a 1-star review if you want, or a 5-star review if you want. I don't care. And the more reviews we get, the better guests we get. So please, subscribe first, and then leave us a review or wherever you're listening.
Welcome, Rockstar Nation. Thanks for tuning into the State of the Market podcast with your host, Pat Hyben and Kevin Kaufman.
All right, Rockstar Nation, what is up? We have got the state of the market in a real estate, sales stuff for you. On today's episode, I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kevin Kaufman. Kevin, what is going on?
What's up, Pat? How you doing, buddy? Just having fun out here in Arizona in our nice crisp weather here this time of year.
Yeah, I rolled out to Maryland, and I'm in Maryland this for the summer, man. It got way too hot in South Carolina for the kids, so I'm enjoying it. Still a little bit humid today, but much better at least. So let's get on some news, boss. Let's see what's going on. Tell me.
Yeah, man, let's hit it. So, I hate to keep bringing this up, but the fact of the matter is this is something that's not going away, is this lawsuit that has been filed in regards to anti-competition, the class action lawsuit against basically NAR, Realogy, KW, RE/MAX, Home Services of America, and I forget how many MLSs, hundreds of MLSs now. It essentially doubled. There's now more plaintiffs. They are starting to name more people. And, this is becoming a bigger and bigger deal. There's now more specific home buyers. It went from home sellers. Went from one home seller to there's like 6 more specific individual home sellers. They brought this thing into one big class action lawsuit. And as you know, I already named the big companies are already named in it, not to mention the 500 plus MLSs. Dude, this isn't going away. This is a real deal.
Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing, I thought the same thing. I'm like, okay. And in conversations you and I have had before, we said that this is how class action lawsuits work or don't work, basically. It's a snowball. It rolls down the hill. If a bunch of people jump on it, it keeps rolling down the hill and more money is getting thrown at it. And so here's also how it works. Because I have investments, and I know this is going to sound strange, but I'm using this example. I have money, right, invested in the vaginal mesh lawsuit. Now that sounds bizarre for me to even say that. But what that means is I put money into that probably 3 years ago. And that money goes for television commercials. And then those television commercials get clients. And then the lawyers get add to the lawsuit and get more people that have had, whatever it is. I don't know what mesothelioma or whatever you get, whatever happens, right? And then and I know it's different things, but just keep going with me. And then they make money off it. The lawyer gets their 33% and a third percent, and then they pay me back. And the return on what I get paid back is a lot. right? It's like it's about 20%. So they pay me a lot. And then if it doesn't, and then if they don't pay me on time, then there's fees. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that this is a business, and as the snowball grows and grows and grows, more people are going to throw money at it to advertise it and make it public, and more people are going to lash on to it. And no more snowflakes. And so what has happened is 6 more people from all kinds of different states. I noticed one dude, Jack Ramey from Maryland, jumped on that, as well as, and I just picked that up because I'm from Maryland. And so these different people start adding on, and every time they add on, they don't have to refile the whole lawsuit again. They just do what they call an amendment, right? We all know what amendments are. But they're allowed to change, and they're allowed to make it better. And a lot of times the lawyers read them and say, you know, like one of the lawyers read it and said, this is against, Remax International or whatever, Remax Holding. And then he said, well, we should also put in Remax LLC or whatever. Just little things, right? They make it stronger and stronger and bigger and bigger. One guy, just did Home Services America, which actually owns Long and Foster. Then the next guy goes, including Long and Foster Real Estate, because, the guy in his lawsuit bought from Long and Foster. And then it goes, whatever. And it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so anyway, so let's talk about the specifics. Why is this a big deal? And the reason that Kevin and I keep bringing this up is we look at it, we're like, man, this is we're beating a dead horse here. We've already talked about this 6 times, is because we go on these websites, these news websites, and there's hundreds of comments. So it's obviously that you guys are engaged in this, you agents listening, or else it wouldn't have so many comments compared to the other news articles that are out there. So go ahead. So tell me what your thought about what's different now, and why is this more of a concern now than it was the last time we talked about it?
So, Pat, I think the reality is here that it's a bigger deal because it's actually become a bigger deal, right? So you nailed it on the head, which is, when it first gets going, maybe it has teeth, maybe it doesn't, but the more people that kind of jump into this, the more teeth it has. And what I mean by that is, listen, if there's now 6 times the number of people complaints, now granted, we're talking about 1 to 6, but if there's now 6 times the complainers, that's 6 times, that's 600%, 500% more people that the judge or the court needs to listen to and go, hey, okay, maybe there's something here. What they're screaming is antitrust, right? Which is obviously illegal in the United States. And so, I think it's up to opinion. But there's a lot of folks who believe that we as real estate professionals partake in stuff that should be, that violates antitrust laws because of our co-ops. And you and I have talked about this for multiple different times now over the last 6 months or so, that potentially decoupling the buyer-seller commissions would be one way to avoid a lot of what's going on in the real estate world. And this is attacking exactly that. This is going right after that, and it's got teeth. Whether it wins anything or changes anything, that still remains to be seen. However, today, here we are, middle of June, 2019. It's got more teeth than it did in May of 2019, right? We know that, and so the question is like the snowball analogy you used. Do more people jump on? Does someone else go, well, hey, you know what? I was wronged. And then someone else goes, I was wrong. I mean, let's think about this. Pat, you sold a lot of houses in your career. I've sold a lot of houses in my career. Not every single one of my clients was happy, right? There's occasionally things happen. It can be an emotional time, especially you went through you went through probably a couple foreclosure cycles. I started out in the short sale world. I had people in rough personal situations. Not that I did anything wrong or harmed anybody. However, sometimes in a situation, people get mad. I can think of a seller who didn't want to sell. He wanted to cancel, and the buyer refused to cancel. And literally, the guy was so mad at me, but I'm like, listen, I can't make you do anything, but I can tell you right now, they can sue you in this state for specific performance. So he was mad. I mean, so
That
mad at
happened to me
us.
several times. Yeah.
So you think about all the times something like that happens, and this is, you and I are just two guys, right? There's 35,000 other agents just in Phoenix.
No, think about all the times a house for 800 grand sold with a fat commission in a day, and the buyer actually was a relative of the seller. You know what I mean? And they're like, that was easy. I gave you the buyer and you didn't do shit and you made all this money. And, you know, matter of fact, now that I know that I didn't have to pay that agent this percentage, that I could have paid them whatever I felt like it, and you didn't give me that opportunity, I'm suing, right? I'm joining, you know, all these other people. And see, it's like social proof, right? It's when one guy comes out with the class action lawsuit, everybody's like, I don't know, you know, that guy is putting himself out there for a couple of grand, right? And then the second guy joins, and then next thing you know, you get more and more, and then it becomes collective behavior. It's like, shit, well, 100 people are in that lawsuit. They're all wanting to get, you know, their commission back, $6,000 or $5,000 or whatever. I think I'll throw my hat in the ring, and then it becomes thousands, right? And then it becomes, hey, the lawyers, all you got to do is give us 33% and we'll get you your full co-op commission back. And this is the reason why they just didn't complain in the lawsuit against NAR, because I thought to myself, I said, why don't you just go after NAR? And I was thinking about this hard, because it's the whole thing goes back to National Association of Realtors and their code of ethics, right? We'll get to that in a minute. The reason I think that they looped on all the real estate companies is because they wanted the companies not to be like, oh, well, that's NAR's problem. We didn't, you know what I mean? We weren't responsible. They said, no, you know, everybody's responsible in this. I want you to think about the word toolbox. What is a toolbox? A toolbox is a box full of tools that you use to build something great. At Real Estate Rockstars, we've created our own free toolbox. So everybody that comes on the show as a guest brings a tool with them, and we plow them all into this toolbox, and we give it away for our viewing audience to basically use as they wish. Everything we put in there is an actionable item that can be downloaded, can be printed, can be used immediately. And we got things like scripts and dialogues, checklists for teams, checklists to keep agents accountable, referral forms that are filled out at settlement to get referrals by your buyers and sellers. Everything you could think of that you could use on a regular basis about real estate is included in this toolbox, and it's helping agents worldwide sell more houses and make their jobs a lot easier and processes much more efficient. And the thing is, it's absolutely free. All you got to do is go to hibandigital.com/toolbox or text the word toolbox to 444-999. That's toolbox 444-999. Do it now. Hey, real estate agents and rock stars. If you're getting value out of the content in this episode, make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the little bell icon to be notified about upcoming episodes. And I would also love it if you left a comment and shared the most impactful tips and tactics you've learned from the knowledge shared in this episode, or even maybe make a suggestion requesting a topic of what you'd like to learn in future episodes. I welcome any feedback below. Now, back to the episode.
And let's face it, if this comes down to a settlement, let's just say not necessarily a ruling, but a settlement one way or the other, it's better to have, if you're the plaintiff, it's better to have all these other parties who are going to be contributing to the settlement amount instead of just one entity. The more entities you can name lawfully in the suit, the more people who are potentially at fault, if you will, and will have to pay up.
It could reshuffle. If you take these 5 companies, Realogy, right, which is basically Century 21, ERA, Caldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Corcoran, and then you take Keller Williams, Remax, then you take Home Services, which is Prudential, which Prudential is now Berkshire Hathaway, Long and Foster, that sort of thing. Let's just take those four. It could reshuffle the deck. There could be one or two of these four or others that are named here that we're not even bringing up that are like, we can't afford to pay back all these commissions or a percentage of all these commissions. So, we'll let Remax take us over for pennies on the dollar and pay our debt. I don't know. It'll be interesting. You could see a major reshuffling of these larger brokers should this happen. Now let's talk about the specifics that are new or that the lawyers have hyper focused on these new amendments. And one of them is Code of Ethics Standard 12-2. Do you know what that one is? I'm sure you have your Code of Ethics memo.
Hold on. Let me get out my cheat sheet on my phone real quick now. No, I don't. Tell me.
It says that as an agent, this is coming from NAR, you're allowed to tell the buyer that your services are free. That there is no reason for the buyer to seek a reduction in commission because their services are free because they're paid by the seller. Now you tell me, is that collusion to get the seller to overpay? I mean, could it be construed that NAR screwed over the seller and made them overpay by telling all the realtors from all these companies that they're allowed to advertise the word free?
I could make arguments on both sides of that, to be honest with you. I never like the word free. I never say free. I've always said typically the seller pays, and in some cases, if my full fee isn't met by them, then in which case I always had my buyers sign agreement saying that they would be the ones to pay it if the seller didn't. The truth is, Pat, I can kind of agree with it. I mean, I see where they're coming from. I don't totally agree with it. I don't think it's outright antitrust, and that it puts sellers in a bad position. I do believe, though, that they certainly have a complaint there. There's an argument for that. Although how strong it is, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I guess a jury will determine, or they'll settle out, like you said. I mean, I don't know where that goes. And it's a long time too. It takes forever to run through these, but this thing is rolling fast, I think, right? I mean, it seems to be growing faster than any lawsuit I can remember as a real estate agent. And I'm 32 years deep as a full-time licensed agent and proud member of NAR, right? I can't honestly say I've ever read the Code of Ethics, but I may have been told by brokerages, and I probably have been at 5 different brokerages over my career. All of them, I'm sure, probably gave me that sales pitch. Nope, commission paid by the seller. You don't pay a thing. You don't, no reason for you to worry about that or negotiate that. And thereby my sellers paid more maybe than they had to have, because I might have done it for cheaper. I don't know.
And we all have had to sit through the Code of Ethics every few years class, and
sit awake and asleep, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Well, slump through it. We've had to slump through it. Kind of like that. Yeah.
God.
Oh man. Anyways, moving on.
Let's move on. All right.
Something tells me that'll come back again later this year.
Yeah.
But hey, here's a company you and I talked about not too long ago too. Redefy launches their DIY flat fee listing platform. So essentially, for less than $400, sellers, which is apparently the hot topic here now, can get listings with 10 photos in the MLS, Zillow, and Realtor.com, as well as a sign in their yard, contracts, addendums, disclosures, all that good stuff without even having an agent for less than $400. And they've now launched that DIY service in Florida and Texas. So, that's interesting. $379. Like, when you hear that, Pat, what do you think? With your experience in real estate, you've seen brokerages come and go. You've seen markets go up, go down. When I say that to you, what is your first thought?
Yeah, I don't know what's proprietary about it. I mean, it's been there forever. You could have done that before them, right? Now I know they've been in the news a lot because they're raising money from outside investors, and I guess the thought is, they're going to be more prominent. People are going to know about them more, and they'll do that through their website and search engine optimization and all that because they're going to spend shareholder money or stakeholder money on it. On the surface is, I mean, it's always been like that, right?
That's what, that's what
always companies like this.
I don't understand. It goes on the story, I guess apparently for $4.99 though, instead of $3.79. So for $120 more, they can get all that I just mentioned, plus text and live chat support and 15 more pictures. But then they can also get for $3,000. Now I'm like, okay, is this just help you sell reimagined?
Yeah, it's help you sell, save 6. It's the same exact thing. Here's the thing. I think their business model's flawed because basically what they're trying to do is they're just trying to be a hybrid of a traditional brokerage and a discount brokerage. And by that, I mean the majority of their revenue is not – I don't believe they're anticipating majority of their revenue coming from the $370. The majority of the revenue is coming from the co-op commissions that their agents, and if you look into it, they're all over like Indeed.com and those websites trying to recruit agents, that their agents are going to, as all agents do, get internet leads. Buyer's not interested in this one, flip them and sell them something else, make a large commission on the something else. And so it's a hybrid, right? Because they have buyer agents. I think if they truly wanted to zig when everyone else is zagging, they wouldn't work buyers at all. They would be, and there's other companies like this. It would be just like, no, we don't work buyers. You know what I mean? All we do is list it and put it out there, because there wouldn't be a kind of like this internal business conflict of interest. And by that, I mean, like I asked them, I went online and I said, do I, as a home seller, control the co-op commission? And they said, yes, you do, but we strongly recommend that you price it here. And so the reason that they strongly recommend that you do a significant co-op is because they want their agents to make money so they could profit, off the co-op commissions. And they don't want to stigmatize themselves as like anytime you see a Redify listing as an agent, you got to go, oh, damn, you want to create a NAR association of positivity with the Redify listing amongst the agent community. So they go, okay, I'll show that, just like whatever. I might have to do a little extra work because the agent doesn't know what they're doing as much or whatever, but you're still going to get paid. If they really gave the seller control of the co-op commission, you started having these, all kinds of crazy co-op commissions, different co-op commissions. It would be I think a much more decisive business model. Let's just say you're either in or you're out, right? These companies that try to do both traditional and discount, they don't work. What's up, brokers, team leaders, office managers, and rainmakers of teams? I got a question for you today. What are the 2 most frustrating things about running a real estate team? The 2 things that cause you more headaches than anything else. Think about it. The brokers I've talked to have all given me the same answer: recruiting and retention. If you're in the same boat, if nothing you've tried seems to work, I've got some good news. Your problem finding, recruiting, and retaining high-quality agents are about to be over. I'm launching my new Retoot course, a course that provides an in-depth, first ever look at the recruiting and retention secrets of the industry's top recruiters. To kick off Retoot's launch, I'm offering the course along with 2 other high-value items at a super low price to podcast listeners. Since I'm throwing in 2 free items with my Retoot Secrets course, I'm going to simply call it my 1, 2, 3 discount package. Okay, so let me talk to you about the 1, 2, 3 discount package. In addition to Retoot, you're going to get a subscription for each of your teammates or anybody in your office to my Big Profit weekly jackpot emails, which are basically agents from around the world giving advice on how to increase your profit on a daily basis in this business. If your agents put these effective, easy to implement tips to use, their sales and most importantly, their profits will improve. Plus, I'll provide you with a year's worth of monthly sales meetings, content to have at your sales meeting so you don't have to struggle figuring out what to say to your agents or your team. I'm calling it my Lunch and Learn sales training series. That's an entire year's worth of sales meetings that you won't have to plan and that your agents are guaranteed to get massive value from. So to recap, purchasing the 1, 2, 3 discount package gets you 1, my brand new Retoot course, 2, my Big Profit Agents weekly jackpot emails for everybody in your office, and 3, a year's worth of Lunch and Learn training sessions. If you want this limited time package, act fast and go to hibandigital.com/123. Real easy, hibandigital.com/123. You know, do one or the other.
I totally agree, and that's where it lost. That's where they lost me. You know, as soon as they go and hey, we strongly recommend you basically pay the average co-broke. I'm going okay. So you're not really a discount brokerage. You kind of are, but you want to play both sides. To me, it just doesn't work. You have to decide who you are and be that person. You know, or be that company in this case. When you try to be something to everyone, you're something to no one, right? And the reality is like it's pick a side. I don't get it. I'm not seeing the value here. I understand the flat rate, the discounted commission model. I really do. There's a place for that. I don't understand where these guys are different. And, you know, they're raising money. I just read an article came out a few weeks ago where they just raised or they were attempting to raise like another $6 million at essentially $2.50 to $3 a share. And I just don't understand why would somebody give you their money at this point? You don't have anything proprietary. I don't see what's special about this one versus help you sell and, you know, all the others.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's virtual. Maybe I think it's more in your face online, but you know, it's no one's ever really been able to brand themselves. I mean, you threw out 2 brands, right? But it seems like those brands, Save 6 and Help You Sell and all that, we remember them, but we remember them for portions, right? They don't stick around. So maybe they're trying to be the brand that sticks around for discount commissions. I don't know.
Yeah. They never become the KW or the Remax or the Home Smart or anything like that.
Well, people will invest in them just because they want to bet on the don't come line, you know, the do not pass, because they want to, you know, they want to do a bet like a short, right? A big short. So that's probably why they get their investors, the people that are hoping money on the short.
True. Well, you know, moving on, speaking of other changes and stuff going on in the industry, this one jumped out at both of us. You know, OpCity, the real estate lead gen platform now owned by News Corp, which, you know, Realtor.com, which who owns and moves Realtor.com and Move Inc. They're opening up a new hub in Austin, tech hub. So something like housing 200 plus employees to serve as like product and engineering. So, to continue with their model of matching buyers and sellers and real estate agents in kind of real time, and especially now with this commission model or referral, I should say referral-based model that they're working on. This is interesting, man. They're going all in on this, it looks like.
Yeah, it is interesting. They're adding more space. They already got 600 employees down there in Austin. They're adding more space, and for 200 more employees, I think, or 200 employees. They're calling it like where their tech center is going to be. It's interesting that that you see these companies growing, right? Like a lot of people you would talk to say, hey, are we in the ninth inning of the real estate game? And these companies like OpCity are like, no way, man, we got a lot of run left. We're going all in on it. But what concerns me is, what if, what we're talking about is true? What if the commissions are decoupled and the commissions shrink? OpCity's whole deal is they take a third of the commission, right? So
Yeah.
Their whole deal is you pay us to follow up on the lead for you, mainly the realtor.com lead. You give us a portion of your commission. Well, if the commission drastically shrinks, and people are going to be paying attention to that a lot more. The agents right now, the agents are like, cool, you give me a hot lead, I'll gladly pay you a third.
Well, I know this, and this just sort of came to me. I know of News Corp, which is a rather large organization. Spent all the money they spent to buy Realtor.com and Move Inc. They obviously just now spent another couple $100 million to buy OpCity. They're going to spend more money here on this new tech hub in Austin, which is obviously one of the tech hubs in the country. This tells me that they're going, to kind of circle back around to the first story we talked about. This tells me they're kind of on our side, if you will, as realtors, and they don't want things to change. And if anything I take away from this story, Pat, I'm going, cool, I've got a behemoth on my side at least who's also going to go to battle with us.
Yeah, they would fight it because it affects them, right? If buyer agents have to start negotiating with the buyer what their fee is, and these guys get a percentage of said fee, right? They're going to do all this work, right? Follow up for 6 months, 12 months, get a buyer lead, give it to an agent. Then the agent's going to call them back and be like, look, good news, bad news. I sold him a house. Bad news. I only got this much money for the co-op. And they're going to be like, wait a minute, we followed up on that lead for 2 years. And this is all you're paying us back? Where now they could think, at least in their mind, hey, if the co-op commissions stay, as the average has in the past 12 months, this is how much profit we can get. Let's buy this company, or let's lease this space for 10 years, this, space in downtown Austin. They can make decisions based on that. But all bets are off if anything changes with that.
Yeah. So, worst case scenario, I'm thinking, cool. I got another heavy hitter on our side of the battle, if you will. So I'm thinking that for sure. And then, I'm going, okay, we first talked about them being Realtor.com, moving to this referral, main strategy, if you will, as opposed to where they used to just sell leads at a subscription rate. OpCity's been all about the referral, and it seems to me like Realtor.com and Move Inc. and all of what they do is obviously going that direction. And so, for the people who are customers of OpCity, if you will, and Realtor.com, it's going to get more pricey, and it's just part of our cheese, if you will, being moved around in our industry. And I think for a lot of folks, it's just continuing to make the decision daily, weekly, monthly. Am I still going to work with the OpCity referrals? Am I going to still work with Realtor.com? We've also talked about Zillow's probably going this way as well, because it makes the most sense, because it makes the most money for them if they can pull this off. And I think it's just sort of interesting to me the way these companies, on both sides of that battle, if you will, are sort of operating in our space.
Brilliant. Yep, I agree. All right, cool. Well, I think that's it for the news, man.
Yeah, man, that's it this week, and I'm sure we'll be back next week with some more exciting news. I'll be keeping my eye on the lawsuit, that's for sure, and some of this other stuff going on, and maybe somebody at Redefy can reach out to us and explain to us what the hell makes them different, because I'm still lost thinking about that and and how they're raising money. But interesting stuff going on for sure. The times they are changing, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess if you really had to think about it, I mean, what makes anything different, right? Like I read this article the other day on vodka, and they were saying vodka smells the same and tastes the same. And the only the only reason you choose one vodka or another is marketing, right? So what makes this vodka better than this vodka, better than this vodka? And so it was an interesting article, because I never really thought about it, but I think the same is true here. Maybe they're just saying, we know this has been around forever. There's nothing new and proprietary about it, but we're going to be the vodka that you remember, right? We're going to be the Grey Goose because we got a lot of money and we're going to spend a ton on marketing so that, people know for discount brokers, they go to Redefy. You want a good vodka, you go to Grey Goose. You know what I mean? It's all marketing, 100% marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I'm curious about too. And I guess time will tell, right? Nothing else. Time tells everything. We may have to just sit back and wait and watch and see it develop it, but it'll be interesting for sure.
Cool, man. All right, buddy. Have a great one. I'll talk to you next week.
All right. See you later. Rockstar Nation, Next Level Agents. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for tuning into the State of the Market podcast with your host, Pat Hyben and Kevin Kaufman.
All right. Thank you for listening to State of the Market, a creation of Real Estate Rockstars. Hey, everybody. If you want to comment on what you just heard, the best place to comment, for whatever reason, culturally, it appears the best place to comment is YouTube. Yeah, just go to YouTube and type in Real Estate Rockstars Radio. And you could comment right there. No holds barred.